So in this video for our A-State coding certificate, I'm going to show you how to create a GitHub Pages site. So I'm on our coding certificate organization. Here's all of our different repos, and I'll just show you an example one on this Intro to Coding repository. We have this Intro to Coding GitHub Pages, which is basically a dynamically generated website from our README file. To clarify, every branch or every repository that you create on GitHub should typically have a readme.md file, and it's usually written like this. And a readme.md file is nothing more than a text file with some markdown language, and markdown basically refers to how you format it. So for example, if I show you this, I'll just click this little edit button. It's hashtag space gives us a title. If I did hashtag, this is a smaller title. We have 3 hashtags, a smaller title, and so on and so forth. It's a repo where you'll find some example projects, yada, yada, yada. And then here's how a link looks. It's this bracket with the text followed by the link in parentheses. Whenever I go back to the actual README, you can see how that translates from Markdown, just like HTML or any other language. There's a Markdown cheat sheet you can find. I have it included in our resources. Shows you how to do images, how to do headers, how to do all kinds of different things. So anyways, really, really simple language. You can learn it in 2 seconds, right? And just refer to this Markdown cheat sheet. So GitHub Pages is a website version of these README files. So basically, whenever I open this, it looks like a nice fancy website, but in reality, this is actually just a README file that's being reinterpreted as a website using what's called Jekyll, which is a theming agent. So if I go back to our A-State coding, I want you to do this. I'm going to make this for the COVID volunteer app. I have a README file here. Now, typically, it's best practice to branch and create a branch that's dedicated to just GitHub Pages. So I'm going to create a new branch, and we should call it gh-pages. That needs to be exactly like that. I'll hit return, and it's going to create that branch. So right now, my README file, part of that branch, only says this is a repository for the COVID Volunteer Connection application, and we're going to go to the Settings tab on GitHub. Within that Settings tab, I'm going to stay on Options. I scroll all the way down, and there's a section called GitHub Pages. I pick my branch that I'm using. By default, it will pick gh-pages, based on if you have a branch named that. Then I get to choose a theme. I'm going to choose a theme here. There's some basic themes here, but there's also just huge databases of other themes, and we can see what they look like right here by scrolling down. So for example, if I pick Midnight, this is what the Midnight theme looks like. I'm going to select that, so I'll hit Select Theme, and it should update. If I scroll back down, just double check, okay, GH Pages branch, it's using this, and the rest of these settings can be the same. Now this is where the website's published. I'm going to open that in a new tab. Here's my website. It hasn't quite updated yet, that's fine. I'm going to go back to my COVID volunteer app, and now all I need to do is just switch my branch to the GH Pages branch, and then as I edit this .md, this README file, we're going to be changing dynamically what this website looks like. So let's refresh this and see if doesn't look like it's loaded yet. We'll go ahead and add like a title or a header. So let's use that markdown. We'll add a header. We'll call it, we'll say COVID volunteer application information. Commit those changes. Let's refresh this guy. Cool, so it refreshed with that default information. Let's keep refreshing and see. Eventually it'll update with our new stuff that we've added, our different headings. As that's happening, I'm going to go to YouTube real quick, and we're going to embed a video. So if I go to my channel, for example, and I grab a video, and I hit share, embed, and I copy this embed code. Inline HTML, if we look at the markdown sheet, works really, really easily. Basically, you can just type in raw HTML and you're good to go. So if I go back in here and I edit this, let's see if we can refresh this if it's updated. So there, it's updated now. We have our information. Um, you can see it links directly to our GitHub page, and it shows that's the theme artist. So let's just add that block of HTML. So I just copy and paste this in HTML. I hit commit changes. And whenever our page eventually updates, this kind of ugly HTML will translate directly to an embedded video or embedded content, depending on what we're using eventually. So we don't need to worry about ever pulling this or doing anything else, right? This exists purely on its own little branch. We can add images in here. If we go back to this markdown cheat sheet, it'll show you how to get images. We can add links. With images, for example, it could just pull something from our GitHub. And we can directly embed them. Let's hop back in here and refresh. And there's our video. It's appeared. Feel free to edit this as much as you like, and let's start building kind of a database of what we've been working on.